For me, growing up as an overweight kid was my reason to become who I am today. I think more than anything, I grew up in an emotionally eating kid in a Mexican-American family. My mother's from Mexico. I was born there, actually. My dad's from Altoona, Pennsylvania, and he wasn't around. So for me, my surrogate father, surrogate best friend became food. I don't know why, but it did. It was my drug as a kid. I remember eating Captain Crunch cereal and just loving it, and having milkshakes at McDonald's. And not that you can't go to those places, and not that you can't eat cereal, but I didn't know about how. I was a sugarholic. I didn't know what sugar could do to your body, And in my new book, The Belly Fat Cure, it's all about really being aware of that, because you can lose all this weight. So for me, I didn't know that then, so it was my struggle. So it became my passion to find the answer. And someone asked me this question: what would you do if you couldn't fail? And for me, I thought I had to become healthy. So that was probably almost 15 years ago. So I'm 38 right now, and been doing this now. This is my 11th book, The Belly Fat Cure, that's coming out. And for me, I feel like this book is really about really transforming your health by doing something a lot of us don't realize, which is looking at insulin levels. And it really gets you to look at the new cutting-edge science that really will give you the ability to control your weight, your belly fat, through insulin. And you can still satisfy your sweet tooth, which is great, because I still like sweets, but smart sweets. Belly fat is such a critical thing. Just last year, there was this huge 9-year study that was released. It was done in Europe, in 9 European countries, with 350,000 people, all conclusive that a high waist circumference lowered your lifespan by half. That the disease rate of type 2 diabetes, cancer, coronary heart disease, all these big killers was directly connected to a high waist circumference. That if you just had 2 inches extra for every 2 inches that you added, you lowered your life expectancy by 17%. The great thing is if you lower your waist circumference by every 2 inches, you increase your life expectancy by 17%. The person that really helped inspire me to ask this question of what would I do if I couldn't fail was someone who I read his book, and it's probably one of the most influential books of my life when I was growing up, and that is Awaken the Giant Within by Anthony Robbins, Tony Robbins. And I was going to UCSD, which is in La Jolla. His offices were in La Jolla, and I met him, connected with him. He was the one that got me to ask this question, what would you do if you couldn't fail? And really, I feel so fortunate to call him a friend today, because he originally, 10 years ago, wrote the foreword to my very first book. And I was honored to have Tony Robbins, who was this, for me, this mentor, kind of like a big brother, transform my life and my thinking and my questions, And it got me to going from wanting to be someone who's potentially going to be an attorney probably, and I have a degree in political science, but to go back to UCSD where I went to school and say, you know what, if I can't fail, I want to be healthy. I need to know nutrition, I need to know exercise physiology, I need to know how that works, how the mind-body connection stuff works. So I became obsessed almost and passionate about that, mainly for myself. And then once I figured it out, and since then it's now been 10 books. This is my 11th book, The Belly Fat Cure. And the science recently in the last 3 years is truly transformational, and that's what I'm so excited about with The Belly Fat Cure, because it really will give people a new perspective that is totally different than what conventional medical doctors will tell us is the solution, which is usually eat less and exercise more, which is partly what I used to tell people, which is a lot of exercise, Not that that's bad, but I do it for different reasons now. The truth is that with The Belly Fat Cure, you can transform your level of health by not eating less, but by changing what kind of calories you eat rather than the amount of calories. It's a whole new science. I've worked with a lot of folks, and I'll tell you probably one of my celebrity clients that I've worked with was Al Roker. He is a good friend of mine. I just saw him not too long ago, a few weeks ago, and he's just transformed his health even further. He originally had gastric bypass, and then a little bit of the weight creeped back on. So a few years ago, with the 3-Hour Diet, one of my books, we did a whole series on the Today Show, and he lost this weight, and even did it during going to the Olympics. This is when Matt and Katie Katie was still there. And he's really inspired me, because he has really gone through a lot and struggled with so many things, and is such a great dad, such a great father and husband and businessman, and really cares about the weather and helping people understand it. And at the same time, wants to be healthy. And I think of him, if he can do it, anyone can do it. And he's made it work, and he's had things that have worked, and then he's made them better. So for me, I would say Al Roker's been a really good mentor, a good friend that has inspired me. He also writes books, which is great, and I love that. And just to see him so successful, most recently, I saw the Today Show this morning, and he just looks so healthy, and more healthy than he was after surgeries or anything. And it's because he's eating really healthy. You know, he's eating the right amount of sugar and carbs, eating good proteins, good fats, and not really concerned too much about calories as he is sugar and carbs, you know, and eating good proteins and fats, which is what the Belly Fat Cure is about. I launched my career on the Oprah Winfrey Show. She was so kind and so generous to have me on there. I didn't have any books at the time. I had a website, and that website had transformed the life of a few people. She flew them in without me knowing, had them there read these letters, teary-eyed. It was a very emotional way to, you know, I was, I think, 27 when I was on that show. So it's about 10 years ago. You know, she said something to me that I'll always remember. I don't know if she will, but, you know, in between the breaks, she said the most important thing is just to keep things simple. You know, and if anyone is busy, it's Oprah. Oprah Winfrey is a busy woman, and you know, I just saw my buddy Dr. Oz. He's a busy man. He's, you know, working with Oprah and has his own show now. And anyone that's busy has the same amount of hours, though, as someone who is not busy or someone who's not a celebrity. So it doesn't matter if you're a celebrity or a business person or just a mom. If you're busy, you still have 24 hours, and if you're not busy, you have 24 hours. But most people are busy, and so you can make time. You really can. A great question is, a lot of times my clients will ask me, what books do I start with? So I would definitely say if you are someone that has 10, 15, 20, or 30 more pounds to lose, what you've got to start with is the new Belly Fat Cure book. It truly is my best book because it's about really knowing that everything we've learned about losing weight is wrong. What conventional doctors have told us is that we have to eat less and exercise more. And I used to even tell people, just exercise and you'll lose weight, and you still can, but I'll explain how that works because really I would recommend as the base of your health is learn how to eat the right sugar and carb value. Well, my mission right now, really as someone who's like a health advocate and someone who was unhealthy, my mission right now is in 2010, 2011, 2012, I really want to touch the life of 30 million people, which is 10% of the US population, with the Belly Fat Cure, with being able to help people be aware of insulin and being able to lower that. My dream right now is to see one year occur, like in the next 2 or 3 years, where the amount of obesity in our country actually goes down, which it hasn't in 25 years. It just hasn't ever really gone down. It's only been going up. And it's predicted, like in less than a few decades from now, that we're going to be at 100%. 10 years from now, we'll be at 80% from 67%. So it's just, and I think as a world and as a culture, if we don't have our health, I don't know what will happen to the human race. We will, you know, we'll kill ourselves from eating too much sugar. We can get America healthy. That would be the start, and then the world, hopefully, and then we can make it a better place, and we'll be happier as a culture, and we'll be out there feeling confident and doing good things.